Hey guys, it is Citra here again, and well, we're still waiting for a Runecraft build for Minecraft 1.2, an official one anyway. And I've been spending a lot of time just thinking about what I'd program, what I'd add to Runecraft if I got my hands on the source code, because I am a Java programmer. I've been coming up with designs and ideas in my head, so I figured I'd share them whilst we wait for the next update. The first of my ideas was looking at the phase blocks rune. What would happen if instead of iron ore we had iron blocks? I imagined that it would be some sort of a single use AoE, area of effect, phase block that would phase blocks around it as well as itself, controlled in the same fashion, and I guess the tier would be used to control the radius, not how many blocks you get to place. I thought it'd be cool to have like chest blocks, which would allow, furnaces, dispensers, and chests to be phased without losing their contents. They'd need to be programmed in a different way, so hence a different rune for it. For lock blocks, because they also, they could be upgraded with gold blocks. I thought what would happen, and I could imagine some sort of large remote control that just didn't lock anything that wasn't attached to it, but could, rather than automating everything, it would allow you to just AoE, just an AoE activation or deactivation pulse on the signature. I thought that would be cool. What else? Well, also, this is the depth note rune, which is a paper rune enchant that tells you how far down there is before there's land, and this is the identifier rune. I thought what would be a good thing to have would be some sort of rune that you enchant to paper that tells you about blocks that you're looking at. These were just a couple of idea designs I came up for that. Why am I in F3? And so you could go up to a block and use your enchanted paper on it, and it would tell you what signatures phase blocks are, what it's automated to, maybe even where the teleporter is pointing to. It's quite an advanced rune here, just so it's not too easy. I thought about horizontal topsy-turvy runes, because at the moment topsy-turvy just goes up and down. It doesn't go forward or back or left and right, which would be really cool. I'd do that if I could. And this rune here, which is a completely new concept, which I've sort of codenamed it the magic pick. What it does is it would allow, say, a sword, for example, to let's see. You would enchant your sword, and then you could go up to, say, a phase block or an engraver or any sort of Runecraft enchanted block, and then take that enchant out of the block, put it into your tool, and then, say, on another block, deploy that enchantment, and you'd get a number of uses based on tier. And it would be a way that you could sort of recycle the runes, reuse them, because at the moment, once you set down your phase blocks or lock blocks, you can't get them back again. They're fixed. And that's not really how Minecraft works in general. There's always a way to reclaim something from your blocks, even if you can just pick it up and put it down somewhere else. So Runecraft lacks that, and I think this is one way of approaching that. Over here we've got something that we were discussing on the forum. This is a tier 5 faith rune, and this was my idea for a sort of faith 2 rune, but it sort of became more like a faith engine. It requires two sets of tier blocks. The obsidian in this one is denoting the area of effect, using diamond rather than gold, and instead of moving the island in a fixed direction to a fixed height, you choose which direction by placing a tier block on it and then activating, and then depending on where the second tier block is located, with the possibility of 6 directions and the strength of the tier block, then the Faith Engine rune would move the Faith Island in a direction of your choosing there. Another thing I was talking to someone called Hero Fifth about was the idea of a more powerful teleport system. And my idea came up with was something like this. This is a teleport rune with a faith rune embedded in it that will teleport land, a sphere of land, strength depending on the tier, and destination depending on the signatures. Whether or not the gold blocks get used up in transport is up for debate. It's understandable that you might want to not have that. This is a waypoint rune, and it uses a single diamond block in the middle and a tier around the outside. The tier must be equal or greater to the teleport rune coming in, something like that. For the signatures, I figured, because it's more or less just a bigger version of the waypoint rune, I've decided that it would be cool to have signature groups rather than just individual signature blocks. So say I wanted red wool in the north, instead of one red wool, I'd have 4. And just like with normal waypoints, that would persist and so forth. Hero's idea was that instead of making it more of a one use, and that when someone teleported in, the waypoint rune would get used up, all except for the diamond block, which would sort of superimpose itself in the middle of the gold block. But that wasn't more to my liking. This rune here would take a 3D sphere of land, and it would have the bottom of that touching the waypoint, as opposed to the top of it touching the top of the map. So it's kind of more like, it's like the Faith engine, it's a directional faith, but in this particular case you could use it to transport between worlds, you could use it with multi-world travel enabled anyway, you could use it for all sorts of things. As an added bonus, it would be fully feasible for players to use personal teleporters, or rather normal teleporters, to teleport to this waypoint here, for example. So if, say, there was stuff already here, like say I'd already teleported a Faith Island in, so that it was touching this and this whole land was occupied, you wouldn't be able to have anyone else teleport in an island, but they'd still be able to teleport to this waypoint. So these are just some ideas I've been having. Another couple of others would be like, why when you cast another rune, like why when you cast a second power pick on a rune, does it reset your power? Why not just accumulate? Why not be able to charge up your tools much more than you can at the moment? And that's something that occurred to me. You could have, why not have, say, accumulating effects? Like, why couldn't we have the underwater pick, which only really comes into play when you use water when you encounter water, and why not have the water pick? Why couldn't I have those on my pickaxe whilst I'm using my power pick, for example? Because they only get used when they need to get used. So it seemed like these are all just ideas that I've been having for if, say, SuperLlama turned around and say, be the third developer and go nuts. This is what I'd do. But of course, SuperLlama and Xerix, they've got their own ideas and they're doing great with them. So I'm quite happy with how Runecraft is going. But this is just, if in an ideal world I got that invitation tomorrow. I'm not saying that I don't love Runecraft as it is. I look forward to the updates. This is, like I said, this is just me and my thinking. So cheers for listening to me ramble. I hope you guys enjoyed it, or you've got any suggestions or feedback about my ideas, throw them in the comments below. It'll pass the time whilst we wait, and I'll see you guys later. Cheers for watching.